really excited to share how I built an automation system across 4 different platforms using AI and Python scripting to automate my affiliate marketing content publishing strategy. This automation system has been a game changer for me because I saw that it saves 80% of my time. Just imagine how much more productive you could be with this kind of efficiency, right? So now let's dive into the details, right? So the system that I developed work on 4 major platforms: Medium, LinkedIn, Twitter and Reddit. It's not only create content but also publishes them consistently without any manual intervention. So in this video, I'll provide you a glimpse of these automation processes and share some of these tools so that it helps you get started. The most interesting thing in this system is that you don't need any external applications to download or install. You can simply run these tools on your web browser. So let's get started. So here is the automation blueprint. First, download all the scripts provided in the video description. Next, visit pythonanywhere.com and create a new directory with the desired file name. Upload all these necessary files to the directory. For example, if you want to automate LinkedIn, name the directory LinkedIn automation and upload the relevant files there. Among the uploaded files, you will find a txt file. In this txt file, upload all your topics for the next 30 days. Then run the program using Python Anywhere console. The script will continue to run for as long as there are topics in the txt file. That is up to 30 days if that's what you have specified. It's a never-ending automation process and it will run until you interrupt. This process allows you to automate tasks easily. Now let me guide you step by step for LinkedIn automation. Before diving into the tutorial, let me share some of the impression and outcomes I have achieved through this automation. In a previous video, I demonstrated how I generated traffic and sales on Medium using automation. So in this video, I will shift our focus to LinkedIn analytics. In the last 7 days, there have been 751 post impression with a remarkable 372% in increase. So this clearly highlights the power of automation. Now let's take a look at the content I have publishing on LinkedIn. You will notice that the posts are not lengthy. They are concise and on to the point, and still they are generating impressions. Some posts receive 6 impressions while others have 9 or even 21 impressions, and some have 81 and more than that. The key takeaway here is that consistent content publishing on LinkedIn actually gives you results. Now you might wonder about benefits of building an audience on LinkedIn. The primary advantage is having an engaging audience that can eventually sell them something you have, right? When you have substantial followers, you can offer your product or services to them. This is the ultimate benefit of building audience through content marketing and content automation. Now let's move on to the real step. The first is to open your web browser and search for Python Anywhere in the search bar, right? And from the results, click on the first link that you see. As I mentioned earlier, there is no need to download any external application to run the script. After downloading all the scripts provided in the description below, you can simply come to pythonanywhere.com. Next, click on Start Running Python Online, which takes less than a minute. After clicking here, select Create a Beginner Account. You will notice there are many plans available, including a $5 per month package for multiple automation tasks. Alternatively, you can create a beginner account to run up to 3 automations. When creating your account, choose a username that contains both letters and numbers. Provide your email address and create a password. Agree to the terms and click register. Once your account is registered, click and Tor. You need to verify your email address, so open your email and locate to the verification email. Click the link to confirm your email address. Now that your email address is verified, now you can sign into your account. Your email address has been successfully verified, as you can see, and you can proceed to your account dashboard. Now we are on the dashboard, as you can see here. Let me provide a brief explanation of this dashboard. First, we have console. This console is where you'll run all your programs, compile them and execute them. With a free beginner account on Python Anywhere, you have access to 2 consoles only. This means you can run only 2 automations or program simultaneously. Next, we have the files section. Here is where you will upload all the files you have downloaded from me. To get started, create a directory here and then you can upload other files as needed. And then we have web. In this section you can create your web applications. It offers a platform for developing and hosting web-based applications. Okay, next we have the task section. Here you can schedule your task like your programs. With a free account you can only schedule one task, meaning you can schedule one program. For any other automation script, you can run them in your console as I mentioned earlier. Now let's say you want to automate a task like posting on Medium daily. If you are posting on LinkedIn, you might need to make 3 posts every day. However, for Medium, 1 post daily is sufficient. So you can schedule your Medium post using task feature here, right? Next, we will move to the file section. This is where you will upload all the files you have downloaded. However, please note that you cannot directly upload a folder here. Now first you need to create your directory and then you have to name your directory or folder. Let's call it LinkedIn automation. Then click on new directory. Then your directory will be created. Afterward, you can start uploading all your files one by one. Click on new file, and then select the files from your desktop where you have stored them. Upload each file one by one. So as you can see, I am uploading the files. So once you have uploaded all the necessary files, we can move on to the next step. Then make sure to upload all the required files before proceeding. Okay, now once your files are uploaded, you have to go to LinkedIn and open your LinkedIn account. So one of the important things that I missed while explaining the automation blueprint is the importance of getting API keys. This is important because without API keys, you cannot publish directly on LinkedIn. So the initial steps to obtaining the API key. To do this, open your LinkedIn account. Once you have your LinkedIn account open, you will need to create a company page. This page is essential to obtain the API key. I will demonstrate this process using one of my LinkedIn accounts. After opening your LinkedIn profile, navigate to the Business tab where a drop-down menu will appear. Scroll down and select Create a Company Page. This step is essential for obtaining the API key. Next, you will need to specify your company size such as small, medium or large, and then you will give your page a name. You can choose the name based on your business or even you can use your personal name. For example, I will give it my own name. This name will also serve as your page URL. You can provide additional information such as your website URL. Make sure to mention your industry and then organization type. You can also upload a logo for your page, and if you wish, then you can also add your business tagline. Make sure to check the box confirming that you are an authorized representative of the organization. Then click on Create Page. Now you can see that your page is created. Now we need the page URL because it is required while generating the API. You can obtain your page URL by clicking on View as a member. Then you will go to the address bar and copy the page link from the address bar. Don't copy the entire link, just copy up to your name. The next step is to get the API keys. To get the API keys, you have to go to LinkedIn developer account. In the address bar, type developer.linkedin.com. When it is open, click on Create App. Then it will ask you to name your application. For example, I will name it Post Publisher. Now here, paste the page URL you copied earlier. You may need to enter a privacy link if you are serving other people. You can ignore it if you are generating API for personal use. Then you make sure to upload a logo. Check the legal agreement box and click on Create App. So once your app is created, you will be redirected to the products section, and now from the products section you have to request access for the 2 products. One is Sign in with LinkedIn and other is Share on LinkedIn. So select Sign in with LinkedIn using OpenID Connect because this one is only available for signing with LinkedIn. After that, you will click on Request Access. Then you will check in Read and agree to the terms, and then again you will click on Request Access. For the second product, which you will use to publish content on LinkedIn, so you have to repeat the same process by clicking on request access, then again check in, agree to the terms and click on request access. So once you have secured access to the both products, proceed to the authentication section. So here you can see your client ID and client secret, and that's very important for Open Authentication 2.0. Then also set your authorized redirect URL, which can be HTTP localhost for testing purposes or your website sign up URL. Before proceeding, from the right side you can see here Open Authentication 2.0 tools, right? So you can click here to visit this one, and from here you can generate access token. This token is important for sending API requests to publish post on LinkedIn. To get the access token, click on create token. Select all the scopes are provided here. Don't miss any of the scopes, as deselecting any of them may create problem accessing to the LinkedIn API. You can see that this default redirect link is provided, where you will be redirected for authorization. Then you can check in. I understand that this tool will update my app's redirect URL setting. And then you can click on request access token. After clicking on it, you will be redirected to authorization page. Now you have to sign in into your app with your LinkedIn account. Right now, after signing in, you can see that our app, which is designed for publishing post, requests permission to use our name and photo. It also seeks the ability to create, modify and delete posts and comments. Furthermore, it can react or you can engage on our behalf and access the primary email address associated with this LinkedIn account. This means you can use your application to post for your own, and you can help others as well who wish to publish on their LinkedIn accounts. Now I will just click on allow. After clicking here, we'll obtain our access token. You can see that this is our access token, and you should copy this and save it securely. Be sure not to save it in a Google document or similar places. Instead, store it in a safe location. I will click here to copy the access token, and then I will open Google Keep. I will paste it here on Google Keep to ensure it's securely saved. Although I don't recommend you to save it here. Now that we have our access token, we can proceed with the next step. So what's the next step? Well, the next step is to verify our app, and to verify it, we'll return to LinkedIn developer account, right? And now that we have the access token, so we'll go back to our app, we'll open the application, right? To verify it, simply click on verify. After that, click on generate URL. Once URL is generated, copy it and open a new tab. Paste the link in the address bar and open it. Now we need to verify this app, as your page will be responsible for the app. Now simply click on verify. This will associate the publish post app with your LinkedIn page. Okay. Now come back here and click on I am done. Refresh the page to confirm that it's verified. Once the page is refreshed, you can see that it's now verified. So what's the next step? Well, the next step is to go to Postman. We will use Postman to send our first API request and obtain our unique URN ID. So what is URN ID? URN ID is a unique identifier, much as like user ID, okay? Or you can say it's like identification number to access LinkedIn API. In our case, it is our LinkedIn URN ID. Every LinkedIn account has its own URN ID. To send request using API to post on LinkedIn, we need that URN ID. Now to obtain your URN ID using Postman, you can simply click on the top docs and tools. From here, click on Postman collection, right? And you can get all the collection from Postman. Alternatively, you can directly open it, or you can find the link in the description below for the all Postman collection for LinkedIn API. I recommend following the link in the description for smoother experience. Download the Postman collection and import to your Postman account. Now first I will open Postman and navigate to my workspace. Okay. Now you can see that there are multiple collections, and among them you will find the LinkedIn API collection. I will open it and you can see that get user ID API. Then I will click here. You can see that a link which is known as API endpoint. which we will use to send API request, and we are going to use get method to get the URN ID. Here comes an important step, that is authorization. This is where Open Authentication 2.0, or in short known as OAuth, comes into play. We need a token here, which is the access token we generated from LinkedIn. So now we'll copy the access token from Google Keep and return to Postman. Remember that you should import this LinkedIn API collection to your Postman workspace. Go to my link in the description below, open it and export it from the collection to your downloads, and then import it by clicking here on import. Once it is imported, and you can just open the way I have opened initially, right? Now paste the access token here and make sure to change it into variable. Don't leave it as it is, because this is a public workspace, so there is some kind of insecurity is there, right? You can simply select the access token and then click on set as variable, and then you can name it something like access token LinkedIn. Now you can send the API request. So I will click on send to see the results. However, it seems we don't have sufficient permission. Let's troubleshoot this issue. Okay, I see the mistake I made. Instead of get me endpoint, it should be user info endpoint in the API link here. The biggest mistake was using the wrong authentication method. This authentication method is old. So to get URN ID, we need a different request link. To clarify it, if I check the product section in our application, you can see that we are using sign in with LinkedIn using OpenID Connect. And if I click on endpoints, you can see that to get the user information, we should use v2 user info with the method get, because it has authentication scope OpenID, right? And we should replace v2/me with v2/user info. I will copy this endpoint and return to Postman to correct it. Now I will replace v2/me to v2 user info. After replacing, I will save it. Now I believe we should get the URN ID correctly. Let's send the request. You can see that the response is in the HTML format. I will change it to JSON for better readability, but I can see that we have error with the request, because you can see here that the status is 404 not found, so we have to seek another method to get the URN ID. After conducting some research and work, I found a way to obtain the URN ID. In Postman, as you have seen, we are unable to send API request to LinkedIn, so I decided to copy the code snippet from here. In Postman, you will see here the code snippet, and you can find the code of any language to send the same request through your program. I just copied this and I went to ChatGPT and pasted this code into ChatGPT. Before the code, I have just added write this program to get JSON output, because we are not getting JSON output initially. But ChatGPT suggested using v2/me as the endpoint rather than v2 user info. But then I prompted ChatGPT that I am using OpenID and the endpoint is v2/user info. Then after this prompt, ChatGPT generated a new program to send request to LinkedIn to obtain my URN ID. This program actually works and I have generated my URN ID. You can also find this code snippet in the video description. Once you have the script, simply copy it and go to pythonanywhere to send the request and retrieve your URN ID. Now to run this and obtain the URN ID, I will once again open pythonanywhere.com. What I will do next is to go to the files once more. Then I will navigate to LinkedIn automation folder. In this folder, I will add another file and I will name it something like geturn.py, for example. Then I will click on new file. Now the Python editor is open. I have already copied the script and I will paste it here. You can find this script in the description below, as I told you. Next, we need to insert our access token. To do that, we will go to Google Keep where we have stored the access token. We'll copy it, from there and we'll come back here and replace the existing access token in the script with the new one. This ensures that the program has the correct access token. With everything in place, I will save the program. After that, I will click on run to run the program to fetch our URN ID. After the program is executed and run, you can see that we have now our account details in the output, and at the top of the output we have the URN ID right here. I will simply copy this URN ID. Now let's return to the directory by clicking here on LinkedIn automation. After we enter the directory, we will open the LinkedIn JSON data Python file. It is important to open this file and make some edit. Here you will paste your URN ID where required. It is important step for the automation to work correctly. I will just paste the URN ID after the person URN variable. After pasting the URN ID, make sure to save the file. You can see that we have assigned the URN ID to a variable called person URN. Wherever it is needed in the script, we used this variable. The next step is to add access token. Now what we will do is to paste the access token that we obtained earlier. We have already copied the access token and we will return to our script to replace the existing access token with the new one. Simply paste the access token here. Moving forward, take a note at the API endpoint. Keep this in mind as it is essential for sending API request. This particular endpoint is used for posting on your LinkedIn feed. There is another API endpoint with the name API endpoint 1, which is used for image uploads. Right? In this video, we are focusing solely on text post. If you wish to upload image post, you need to refer to the specific section for that. Right? Now let's focus on the text post. In this script, you can see that there is a create text post function. This function is responsible for publishing text post. We won't cover other function in this video as we are concentrating on text post. With everything set up correctly, click on save. One more important note, ensure that access token is accurate and in place. Once you have saved the script, you are ready to proceed. Okay, one mistake I made here is regarding the access token. Before the access token, make sure to use double quotation mark, not single ones. Ensure that you enclose the access token with double quotation mark at both ends. Now let's proceed to the next step. So in the next step, we will go to the LinkedIn automation directory. Now let me explain what else you need to run the automation. Firstly, we have LinkedIn main file, which is primary program that we will run. Additionally, we have several other modules that are going to help us in execution. Now let me give you an explanation of LinkedIn main file and the role of the time module. The time module is important for scheduling our program and ensuring it continues to run automatically. In this script, we use time of 21,600 seconds, which correspond to every 6 hours. This means that our program will execute after every 6 hours, meaning 4 times every day. Next, we have the file path for LinkedIn topic.txt. Let me show you what is the role of this file. It contains all the topics we want to post about on LinkedIn. You can customize it with the number of the topics you wish to cover each day. For example, if you want to automate the program to post 4 times a day with a 6-hour interval, you need 120 topics for 1 month. The program will execute from the while true loop, meaning that the program will continue running till there are topics in the txt file. It will start from line 0 of the topic file. Then the program will execute the text getter module to get the every next line from the topic file. Then you can see that if the next line is not none, it means till there are topics in the txt file. It will select and get topic from every line one by one and execute them. Then we will call the prompt from the prompt library and we will pass the selected text from the txt file to the prompt. After that, the program will execute the OpenAI generate function. From this function, with the help of the module, text content will be generated. The generated content will then be printed in the output. Following that, the program will execute the LinkedIn JSON data module to call the create text post function within the module. Using this function, the program publishes content on LinkedIn. After the post is published, the time module is used here to introduce a 6-hour delay before the program continues for the next execution. This process repeats until all posts based on the topics in the txt file are posted. Next, let's navigate to LinkedIn automation, where I will explain you how to integrate OpenAI and where to input your OpenAI API key. To get the API key from OpenAI, you have to visit openai.com. If you already have an account with ChatGPT, you can log in here. If you don't have one, you can simply click on Get Started to create an account. So I will click on Login and then I will log in with my Google account. Now after logging in, you can see that we have ChatGPT, DALL-E and API. We will go to API. Okay, I think from here we cannot get the API. So I will click on my account. You can see my account logo here. I will click here and from there you can select View API keys, and that's how you generate your API key. I already have 2 API keys here, so I will create a new API key to showcase you how to get the API keys. Before I create the API key, let me take you to the usage to show you the cost of using OpenAI API. It's not very expensive. You can see that I have been using it since August and now it is September, but it's just more than $1. It is exactly $1.11. You can automate across multiple platforms and it won't cost more than $1 every month. That has been my experience. Now to generate your API, click on Create New Secret Key. I will name it My Test Key and then I will click on Create Secret Key. You can see that my API key is generated, so I will copy it. Now I will come back to Python Anywhere and then I will go to my LinkedIn automation directory and click on Text Content Generator Python file. When it is open, you can see this OpenAI API key text. So I will replace this text with the actual API key. Then I will save it and then you are done. One last step is putting some topics in the LinkedIn topics txt file. Let's say you want topics for the next 100 days. First go to ChatGPT and find the content. I'll also show you how you can write prompts for LinkedIn so that you can better execute the program and make better posts. Now let's put the topics in LinkedIn topic.txt. Then we will learn how to write prompts for LinkedIn. So I will open Bing Chat and in the chat bar I will ask Bing for 10 trending topics on ChatGPT and that are trending on LinkedIn. After being generated, I will wait for some moment. After being generated the topics, I will copy these topics and I will come back to LinkedIn topic txt file. I will then paste them in LinkedIn topic txt. Then I will remove the reference numbers. Now we have 10 topics for 2 days as we'll be posting for 4 times every day. Now I will click on save and you are ready to run the program. So I will back to my directory. After that I will click on console to open the console. You can see that we have one existing console that we used to get the URN ID. Now to create a new console, I will click on bash and a new console will be open. So you can see our console is getting prepared. Once it is prepared, I will try this command to run the program. And the command is python3/home/your username /LinkedIn automation /LinkedIn main.py. After running the command, you can see that we have error, and the error is not our program but with import OpenAI, because OpenAI is not a built-in library on Python. So we have to install it, and to install it you can simply type pip install --user OpenAI. Now you can see that the OpenAI library is getting installed, so we can wait for some moment. Now you can see that the OpenAI package is successfully installed here, so we can run the script in the same directory. I will simply copy the initial command python3/home/indishmarketer1 /LinkedIn automation /LinkedIn main.py. Then I will paste it here and run it. Let's see. Okay, it's showing file not found, LinkedIn topic.txt. So there is some error, right? The reason it is showing this error because we have not changed the directory in the console. We are trying to run the program without changing the directory. It means that console cannot recognize any files unless we change the directory. You can see here the dollar symbol, but we were not specifying the directory after the dollar symbol. To set the directory, you need to use cd. So you write cd space then /home / followed by your username / and then LinkedIn automation directory. As you can see that the directory is changed and now it is LinkedIn automation directory. So we can run the program. Before we run the program, I realized one mistake. In the LinkedIn JSON data file, the URN ID is incorrect. It has a hyphen that should not be there. So I will correct it by copying and pasting the correct URN ID. Now you can see that I got this URN ID by running the get_urn.py file again. As you can see, our URN ID has no hyphen before. So it is the correct URN ID. After pasting the URN ID, I will click on save and now we can run the program. Make sure to be careful with small mistakes as they can cause errors in the program. Now in the console you can see that we have changed the directory to LinkedIn automation to ensure the program continues running even when you close Python Anywhere. It is very important to use the screen command before running it. If you skip this step, then the program will stop executing when you close Python Anywhere or your browser. So make sure to use screen before you write your other command. So you should write screen and then run the program with this command only, python3 linkedin main.py. As we have already changed the directory, so this will work. Now after running it, you can see that the screen is terminated, meaning we have some error in the program. Let's check the error by running the program without using screen command. So I will put the command like this, python3 linkedin main.py. After running it, you can see that we still have some error with URN ID and we need to fix that. Okay, now let me show you where I made the mistake. You can see this red cross marking showing a syntax error in the LinkedIn JSON data file. Here I made a mistake with this quotation mark. I will remove this quotation mark. Now if I save it, you will see that there is no error. So I can safely run this program now. Let's go back to bash console. Here I will write screen again and then I will copy the same command from the above and I paste it here. Now I will run it. Let's see if it is working or not. So you can see that it is working, right? And you can see that it retrieved text from the txt file. It means it's going to the LinkedIn topic txt file and opening it and getting the text from there. Now let's wait and see if it get published on LinkedIn, right? So now it will generate the content from OpenAI. So we will wait for some moment. After waiting for some moment, you can see that it has generated content from OpenAI and finally it says our process is successful. You can see that the post generated here. Just below this post message, we have another message that is successfully shared on LinkedIn. That's a big achievement, right? Our automation is working. The final step is to detach it from the screen. Since it's running on the screen, you have to press Ctrl+A and then simply D to detach it. This way it will run in the background. You can close this and it will continue running. In the next 6 hours, it will publish another post. This is the magic of LinkedIn automation. Now let's check on LinkedIn if the post is published. I will go to LinkedIn and visit my profile. Then I will click on view profile. After opening up my profile, here you can see that my first post is published on LinkedIn, and that's the power of automating LinkedIn. I told you that I would teach you about LinkedIn prompts, but if I get into prompt engineering now, the video will be very lengthy and it may confuse you too. So I will share with you in another video. This program will never stop running until you stop it or all topics from the LinkedIn topic txt file is covered. Make sure to fill the LinkedIn txt file with enough topics for the program to run. You will need around 120 topics to run for 30 days of automation, right? So that's all for today.